Welcome to The Interest. I'm Sarah Wolak. It's Tuesday, so we can expect our friend Shane Kidwell to drop in with a tech trick in this week's Tech Talk. And of course, Steve Richman shares how you can live the good life on today's Road to Riches. But to kick off the show, it's been just about 2 years since the FHFA legalized dual capacity, which means that a mortgage originator can also become a real estate agent and vice versa. This has allowed some to double dip in a mortgage transaction and inspired others to get dually licensed. In other words, some in the industry have become one-stop mortgage shops. I had the chance to sit down with Brandon Metoyer, who has branded himself as the face of dual licensing in Colorado. Let's hear what he had to say.
If I don't know the full picture of whatever I'm talking to, I feel like I don't know anything. So as I was talking to these clients and I realized there were certain things I couldn't talk about, I couldn't talk about what the contract looked like.
When Brandon Metoyer first became a loan officer 4 years ago, he felt like he was thrown into disarray. He wanted to learn more about the transactions he was doing. So he took a leap of faith and decided to get his real estate license too.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just buy the course. Let me just go through the 166 hours and just learn it. And I had no intentions of actually being a real estate agent.
2 years later, when dual licenseship became legal in Colorado, Metoyer took advantage of that. When he first started in the industry, he was at a company that provided leads. When he moved companies and no longer had leads, he had a hard time finding reliable referral partners.
Calling real estate agents, trying to get them to send you business. And that's actually interesting because I never really understood why loan officers prioritized realtors and realtors don't prioritize loan partners.
So Metoyer's solution has been becoming his own referral source, focusing on approaching the buyer directly rather than showing up to open houses with donuts and balloons.
So now it's been a whole different struggle getting loan officer and realtor partners knowing that I'm dual licensed.
But Metoyer doesn't feel like he's missing out or making less money since becoming dually licensed. He's branded himself as the face of dual licensing in Colorado and recently bought his first home.
I still would do this regardless because the stress of relying on somebody else versus not knowing what I'm doing versus, being the best for my client is worth whatever referral partner I may have lost.
To read more about the one-stop shops in the mortgage industry, go to nationalmortgageprofessional.com. For The Interest, I'm Sarah Wolak.
We all dream of owning a home, but for too long, if you didn't fit the mold, you were stuck. Stuck because the system worked for everyone except you. We've changed that. Angel AI uses advanced AI technology to give a 100% trusted solution and fast answers for worry-free financing, allowing you to achieve fair and equal access to lending. Angel AI. AI you can bank on.
Hey guys, it's Shane Kidwell back with another discussion around technology. And this week we're going in a different direction. We're talking about a smartwatch and how you can leverage data and personal accountability to really help make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Because if you've ever had a time in your career as an originator where you weren't at your best, you can probably trace back several decisions you made on your health that also impacted your ability to originate well. And I'm here with a great friend of mine, a contributor, Candido, who is all about the smartwatch. Tell us a little bit more about how you leverage this and which one are you using?
So I'm using the Apple smartwatch.
Okay, good man.
Yeah. And, for me, and let's face it, Shane, it's not if, it's when, in this business, when you're going through a rough spot. Look, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. But for me, it starts with mindset, right? So, I'm a part of an accountability group and, I kind of drag them along into this challenge. And it could be smart, start small. For me, I aim for 10,000 steps every single day. I get a majority of that in the morning, and I track it simply on here. So, it's not something that you would necessarily think about, but for me, it starts every single day with this smartwatch, because it really is all about getting in the right mindset so you can go on and have a productive day, right? So while I'm sitting there I'm not sitting, but while I'm actually going through my workout, I'm watching a podcast or I'm listening to something educational. I do that Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends while I'm working out, I allow myself to watch, sports or whatever during that time. But it truly sets me up for having a successful day, all because I'm tracking my steps on my smartwatch.
Well, and there are some other ways you can leverage a smartwatch, and I love that. And there's a doctor on Instagram who sells supplements, and he gives out free information every day. And one of the things he's constantly talking about is there are so many studies that show that people who live longer, live healthier, do at least 10,000 steps a day. So I love that you're doing that. It also will tell you when you've sat for too long. And there are so many studies about how long you can effectively get something done. Inside our coaching group, we talk about the Pomodoro timer a lot. And you can actually kind of build that into your smartwatch. You'll say, hey, you've been sitting, you need to stand and take a break, which is good because if you've been sitting that long, your brain is also sitting and is not at its peak. And so that's great. I also like to use my smartwatch as a remote control for my camera. And so for me, like we've talked about this a bunch on other TED Talks about the tech talks. I can't say TED Talk, probably gonna get in trouble, but we talked about like creating video and creating content. But like, how do you do that? How do you set up your camera? And one of the easiest ways is just to have the remote on your watch. You get everything set up. You can press your watch. It's below the frame of the camera. It's another great way to use a smartwatch.
Phenomenal. I do the same thing, man. I try to. I feel like I was in the Stone Ages before I actually knew it. It's incredible.
Well, guys, there's some amazing technologies out there that you may not even be thinking about in your business that can also help you take your business to the next level. We'll see you next time.
I can give you one guarantee about this market. It's going to change. We're always dealing with change. And you're saying, but I don't like change. Let me help you with change. What I want you to do, let's do an exercise. Cross your arms right now. Go ahead, cross your arms. You got it? Good. Now, out, and now cross them back the other way. That's weird. That's uncomfortable. That doesn't, folks, that's what change is. We've all been doing it the same way for so long, and we get comfortable the way that it has to be. When things are a little different, it's weird and it's uncomfortable, and we need to get comfortable with being weird and uncomfortable. Now, do me a favor. Okay. Cross your arms again. How many of you went back to the original way that you had your arms crossed? Folks, we need to do what? We need to deal with the change and try to do things differently and not fall back on our old habits. That's how we're going to survive in this new marketplace.
For more on these and all of today's top stories, go to nationalmortgageprofessional.com.